Assalamualaikum and a very good day I bid to all the viewers of this presentation. I am Sharifah Izzati from the International Languages Teacher Training Institute, and today I will be presenting on my research entitled The Impact of Using Total Physical Response, TPR, in set induction to decrease pupils' affective filter in order to increase participation in an ESL classroom among upper primary pupils, a survey. So without further ado, let us begin. So this is my statement of problem. So basically, it is important that the problem of high affective filter to be researched on. Why? Because when pupils' affective filter is high, it is hard for comprehensible input to be ingrained in the pupil's mind. And why is it important for comprehensible input to be ingrained in the pupil's mind? Because it is important for second language acquisition SLA to take place, and when SLA is successful, it will indirectly assist second language learning in the classroom. And what if it's not taken seriously? This will further lower English proficiency among the pupils, and their language won't improve. Why? Because a mental block is created. So these are my research objective and research questions. So my research objective is, the main objective of this research is to explore the impact of using TPR in the teaching stage of set induction to lower pupils' affective filter in order to increase participation in an ESL classroom among upper primary pupils. And I have two research questions. The first one, does the use of TPR in set induction have a significant impact on pupils' affective filter? And can low affective filter lead to an increased participation in an ESL classroom among upper primary pupils? So we seek to answer those two questions. So this is my literature review. First and foremost, affective filter. Affective filter is a concept based on the hypothesis in Krashen's theory of second language acquisition, whereby it explains that internal emotional factors play an important role to determine whether a person can accept the second language input or not. And some of the factors that influence affective filter would be motivation, anxiety, and self-confidence. And when a person's affective filter is high, it will block SLA from happening, and it will indirectly affect SLL in the classroom. And despite the teacher having the comprehensible input in a way that is perfectly sequenced for the pupils to understand, the affective filter will act as a barrier for the input to be ingrained in the person's mind, and it will further lower the chance for the pupils to achieve language competence. And TPR by Asher. So Asher, he asserted that using the method of TPR will allow language learning to happen gracefully and without stress. And why did I choose to conduct this research in the stage of set induction? Because set induction is a stage that is able to motivate pupils for the lesson. Okay, because high affective filter, meaning that pupils have low motivation, high anxiety, and low self-confidence. So we should use a stage that is the best to motivate pupils for the lesson. Okay, so moving on to the methodology of my research. My research design would be survey. I chose survey, and I used the quantitative methodology, and I used the convenience sampling. Okay, so for my research instruments, I used 3 research instruments, namely questionnaire, interview, and observation. So let us have a look one by one. First one, questionnaire. The questionnaire contains 4 sections. I used it for the first section is for background of the participants, and the second section is for the background of their affective filter, and the third one, their affective filter when the teacher uses TPR in the stage of set induction in the classroom, and the last one is for participation. And the Google form link was distributed through the class teacher. And the second instrument would be interview. The interview that I used was completely structured, meaning that I have an interview script and I use word by word questions. So, and then for the interview there were consent forms as well. And why did I use a structured interview? This is to ensure similarity across the sample, meaning that I should make sure I ask the exact same questions to each participant. And I used the phone call to conduct the interview, and word by word questions were answered using a nominal scale. 1, 2, 3 were the scales. So for observation, I used a structured observation as well, meaning there were guidelines, specific guidelines on what I should observe. What I should observe. So this is used to seek truth on the impact in relation with findings and real life situation. And this was done through Google Meet sessions, because when this research was conducted, face-to-face class were not done due to the pandemic. So all data received were analyzed using Microsoft Excel, and each data was coded numerically and were organized into various forms for easy understanding, such as pie chart, bar chart. Moving on to the next part, which is research findings. So first and foremost, let's have a look at the background of participants. So on the left side of the screen, you can see the gender distribution of the respondents. 51.4% of the respondents were female, and 48.6% of the respondents were male, or the questionnaire. And on the right side of the screen, you can see the background of the participants' affective filter. Please note that this one is based on a five numbered scale. So, meaning the participants' confidence were at 3, meaning they neither agree nor disagree that they are confident of themselves in English class. And it's a 3 for motivation as well. They neither agree nor disagree that they have high motivation for English language class. And for anxiety, it's a 3 as well. And possible reasons for them choosing 3 as an average would be: number 1, I'm not good at speaking in English. Number 2, I feel that English is hard. And number 3, I don't understand English. That would be some of the reasons that made them feel like so. So these are the findings from the questionnaire. So based on the participants' frequency of TPR usage in the classroom, we can see that nearly 10 always had TPR used during the stage of set induction in the classroom, and other participants have sometimes TPR used in the classroom, and none of them had rarely or never as the frequency of TPR usage in the classroom by the teacher. And based on the questionnaire, this would be the finding, meaning when the teacher uses TPR in the stage of set induction, it's number 4. They agreed that it was able to increase their confidence, and they agreed, because it's number 4, that it was able to increase their motivation, and they agreed that it was able to lower their anxiety, and they agreed that it was able to increase their participation. Okay, because number 4 is the scale of agree. And these are findings from the interview, top part first. Okay, please note that this is based on a 3-number scale. 1 is for disagree, number 2 is for neither agree nor disagree, or I'm not sure, and number 3 is for agree. So this is based on per question. So meaning confidence. For the interview and finding about the confidence construct, there were 2 questions. And then for motivation, there were 2 questions. Anxiety, 2 questions. And for participation, there were 4 questions. So for confidence, the participants agreed that using TPR in the stage of set induction in the classroom was able to increase their confidence. And for motivation, they neither agreed nor disagreed that it was able to increase their motivation. However, this is a 2.5. It's closer, and it's in the middle. It's not completely number 2, and it's not number 3. It's in the middle. And for anxiety, it's a 2.6. It's the same case for motivation. So they kind of agree and not disagree, but is more towards that. So this one is a bit in the middle. However, the pupils agreed that using TPR instead induction was able to increase their participation in the classroom because 3 out of 4 questions had the mean of 3 and only one had a mean of 2.3. And moving on to the findings from observation, is the same case as the interview. 2 questions per construct except for participation, and it's based on 3 number scale. So for confidence, they agreed that it was able to this is based on the observation by the teacher. So the teacher agreed that using TPR instead induction was able to increase the pupils' confidence, was able to increase their motivation, was able to lower their anxiety. However, one of the questions got a 2, and 2 out of 3 questions for participation, the teacher agreed that using TPR instead induction was able to increase the pupils' participation. However, one got a 1 because this one is the question whereby the teacher said that using TPR instead induction was not able to make the students stop talking during the lesson. So that was it. So to conclude this presentation, the 2 research questions. Number 1, does the use of TPR instead induction have a significant impact on pupils' affective filter? The answer is yes. And the second question, can low affective filter lead to an increased participation in an ESL classroom among upper primary pupils? The answer is yes as well. So that is all. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye. And these are my references. Thank you.